Okay. 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 Alright. Alright. Alright, buddy. Alright, okay, cool. Okay. Awesome. I can- okay, the driver's working again. Yippee! Yay! I had to restart my computer. That was terrible. I did not like that. What the heck? That's crazy because I had used it like last night and it was working fine then. Damn. Alright, whatever. Let me see if the thing goes through. Okay. Yep, it did. Cool. Awesome. Alright. That's okay. Welcome. Welcome to actually I want a little pointer. Actually, no, never mind. I'm just gonna keep going. Okay, so welcome to the Pokemon Old Man Yaoi. Yaoi. I can't spell. Yaoiverse. Explained. Goose morning. Yes, goose morning. Welcome to the which I wrote all on the same layer. So we're gonna have to undo all of that actually. Okay. We're off to a great start. The Pokemon Old Man Yaoiverse Explained. Okay. Alright, cool. So what we've got here is something that me and my friends have been cooking up for a while, actually. And by me and my friends, I mean me and Skitty and Spade, and also sometimes Selena. So let's identify our main players here. So we have my OC Hako, who I will draw very quickly. Alright. With that title, how can I not be scared? You don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's normal. It's so normal and totally just, yeah. It's great. You're gonna be so entertained. Okay. So this is Hako. He kind of looks like that, and he has like a big fluffy sweater or scarf. And he has like multi-toned hair, because of course he does, because it's a Pokemon OC. So that's Hako. Actually, let me put him on a different layer. And reselect. This is my guy. Yeah, that's my little guy. He is the Gravekeeper of the Celestial Tower, which is like a Pokemon graveyard. The hesitation doesn't fill me with confidence. Okay, whatever, dude. Whatever, man. Gravekeeper of I can probably... Hold on, let me make my little thingy-majig smaller. Okay. So that's him. Now our second main player is, in terms of OCs, is Rowan. That's my friend Skitty and Asa's OC. So Rowan looks kind of like this. And he's like really old and sad, and he misses his wife. Okay. So that's Rowan. He is Lear's dad. From Pokemon Masters EX. Hold on, let me make him smaller. So Lear's dad is like the king of whatever like weird like region they come from. So him and Lear are both like royalty, I guess. But Rowan is the only one that is an OC. Lear is an actual character in Pokemon. So King of Unknown Region. Lear dad. Okay. This is gonna be great, guys. Are you so entertained? This is gonna be awesome. Okay, so that's him. I should probably write OC next to each one. OC. I'm gonna write Phecda OC. And Skitty and Asa's OC. Yeah, fantastic. Keep going, Queen. Okay, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna have to merge these layers down again, and then I'm doing really bad at like keeping them separate so I can move them around. Okay, so this is the two OCs currently that we have for this Pokemon Old Man Yaoiverse. So actually I'll move them down to the bottom so that I can talk about the canon characters now. So in terms of the canon characters that are a part of the Pokemon Old Man Yaoiverse that we have currently discussed, so we have Alder, Ghetsis, who else? And AZ, yeah. And I guess, I'm trying to think about it, because like we could hypothetically add Drayden to that mix, but we haven't talked about him yet. Like like we've talked about him very tangentially, but not to the vision in terms of like these three bozos that we've talked about. Okay. So let me draw each of these characters. So we have Alder, if I remember how to draw him. His fuck ass hair. His little like bead necklace thing of Pokeballs is kind of funny. So there's him. I'm gonna make him a little smaller. I keep drawing them too big. So there's him. And then there's Getsus, which if I don't really think I need to explain who these characters are, but and I think it's funny because like out of all of the characters, only 2 of them don't belong to the Unova region. So let's draw Getsus real quick. If I can remember how to draw him. Hold on, I need to look up a reference for this fucker. Hopefully that didn't pop up on stream. Okay, awesome. Yeah, okay, I remember now. I was like, how do his little like flyaway hairs work? But I remember now. Now, what's important to examine here is that this is black and white Getsus. So, like the original version. This is before before the events of Black and White. Very important for the timeline. This guy. And then we have AZ, who happens after, like this, he becomes important after, like the current timeline, and into the post, what we would consider the post game of this like Yaoiverse, right? So, like, so it would be I'm on the fence on whether or not it should be XYAZ or ZAZ. You know what I mean? Because the vibes are very different for both of them. So I'll draw XYAZ. Actually, I'm drawing that too big. I like how they are all very, like, unhappy looking. What did I do to his face? Oh my gosh. Okay. There we go. So within this graph, we technically have two, you could argue maybe 3 members of royalty, because AZ is like the former king of Lumios, and then Rowan is new AZ because he isn't a homeless bum. Okay, so the problem with that, okay, so the timeline here is that all the stuff that happens between Hako, Alder, and Getsus happens before the events of Black and White. That's important. Very important. All right, let's group this all together. And anything that happens between Alder and Rowan happens after the events of Black and White 2. Oh, wait, no, that's not true. It happens during Black and White. my bad. Because Iris is the champion during Black and White too. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting my own like universe mixed up here. Or well, I guess I can't call it my own universe, but it's a collective effort between me and some friends. Okay, let's start explaining. So I'll put like the things beneath. So Unova champion, leader of true leader of Team Plasma. And then former king of Kalos. Okay, awesome. So we have our key players here. Very important. Now let's start doing the web. So let's start with the root of all of the issues, which is the relationship between Alder and Getsus. So they're exes, right? And this is important because this happens when they're younger. And their relationship kind of like sets the tone for the entire Yaoiverse. And I believe that's called Hippocratic shipping in the Pokemon like fandom space. Hippocratic is in like the philosophical like debate sort of thing. Not like a hypocrite. Like it's HIPP. Like the Hippocratic Oath. So they're exes. Of course, the American and the French are the... No. So this is okay, we can talk about that later. That's I can talk about perfect world shipping, which is Lysander and Sycamore later. We can talk about that later because it's not within the old man Yaoiverse per se. It's within the middle-aged man Yaoiverse. Which, by the way, I need to update to account for the stuff that happened in ZA. Right? So we can talk about that later. We're getting sidetracked. So the important part is that Alder and Getsus were exes when they were younger, and they knew each other when they were like all trainers, like younger trainers trying to like kind of make a name for themselves. And their breakup was really messy. Like it did not go well. And this is part of the reason why Getsus knows of all the stuff that has happened with Alder in the past. Especially like the death of his partner Pokemon, which is how Hako and Alder meet. So they meet actually, let's do a different color here. So I'm gonna do black for former relationship. Actually, let me do that on another layer. Former. And then red for current. Well, no, let's not do current. Okay, I have to explain that. I'm gonna have to explain that. So let's do red for endgame. Okay, this is gonna get really confusing. Okay. All right, so Hako and Alder meet when Alder is going to the Celestial Tower to visit the grave of his former partner Pokemon. And they've seen each other around a lot, right? Because he visits so often. The key point here is that Hako doesn't have to do as much work with the upkeep of his partner Pokemon's grave, or Alder's partner Pokemon's grave, because of how often he visits and like maintains the grave himself. So, they start to talk, right? I sound insane right now. Okay, let me get something to drink because my throat is dying. So they start to talk, and they eventually start to hit it off really well because of their shared experience with you know, like death and dying and all of these because since Hako has to, like, you know, maintain all of these graves, and he has to like interact with the people who are grieving on a daily basis, he can kind of understand where Alder is coming from, where he says, like, you know, he still wants to, like, you know, keep the memory of his partner Pokemon alive. And Alder eventually does share a lot of information about this and their like their relationship, his relationship with his partner Pokemon, a lot with Hako. And so Hako is privy to basically the majority of, like, Alder's, like, biggest trauma. This is a very important piece of information. So the problem with this relationship is that Hako and Alder are very, very, very different people. The key for... So in order for Hako to be happy, he has to have stability, right? He has to do, like, basically the same routine every day, maintaining the graves of the Celestial Tower, making sure that everyone is, like, accounted for and taken care of when they're visiting the graves. He has not left his particular area of Unova before, and he actually has never had a Pokemon trainer's journey because he took over the job of maintaining all the graves from his parents, who died relatively early on in his life. So he wasn't able to have a Pokemon trainer's journey at all. Alder, on the other hand, needs to have freedom in order to, like, be happy. He needs to be able to, like, wander around and, like, experience life. So you can see how this is an issue. Because Alder would leave for extended periods of time while Hako stays at the Celestial Tower, and it would cast doubt within his own mind about, like, what the nature of the relationship is, because he's kind of insecure about the fact that Alder was, like, constantly, quote unquote, leaving him and, like, going to fuck off and do whatever it is that he needed to do. Right? So, this is where Getsus Alder comes in play. So Getsus has been trying to, like, keep tabs on Alder, because he could potentially cause, like, throw a wrench into his whole plan of, you know, whatever it is that he was doing with Team Plasma. And, you know, taking over the Unova region and whatnot. So, because of this, he is aware of like, the relationship between Alder and Hako, and knowing the fact that, that Alder is who he is from, you know, them being so close in the past, Getsus tries to take advantage of Hako's, insecurity and like basically plant the seeds of doubt in Hako's mind that Alder doesn't actually care as much about him as he believes that he does. So this is how the beginning of Hako and Getsus's relationship begins. Actually, I can write the names of the ships here. So this one would be Arbor shipping. And this one would be Felled Tree shipping. So, Getsus eventually, once he, like, figures out, like, what Hako's about, like, because Getsus is pretty good at reading people and, like, learning how to manipulate them and such, he eventually convinces Hako that Alder doesn't actually, like, care about him at all. And that he's just gonna leave him one day and just, like, kind of fuck off somewhere and never come back. Which kind of, like, makes Hako, like, and because all of this has been, like, kind of, like, that seed of doubt had already been planted in his mind, he does kind of believe Getsus in that way. This is, like, a long game. So, but the real reason why Getsus is trying to, like, control Hako is because Hako is a key, like, position in terms of, or, like, a key, like, tool that he can use to convince the people of the Unova region that, like, using Pokemon as, like, partners and for battle is unethical. Because if he, how do I just explain this? Hako is basically, like, all Pokemon will die eventually, right? So, or most Pokemon will die eventually. And if Getsus can convince Hako that, the people, that are using their Pokemon are actually abusing them and shortening their lifespans, then having, like, a literal gravekeeper, like a person who, like, takes care of all of these, like, dead Pokemon, say that, like, at one of his rallies, that could be huge for him. Like, a huge, like, push in terms of, like, swaying the public to think the way that he wants them to think. Because we have to remember that Getsus doesn't actually care about, like, the ethics of using Pokemon in battles. He actually just cares about weakening the general public so that when he does decide to try and take over, they can't fight back against him. So, Hako eventually agrees to join Team Plasma. And this is while Alder is away, so he just doesn't, like, he isn't aware of the situation until one day he goes back to the area where the Celestial Tower is, and there's a Team Plasma rally going on. And he sees Hako talking about how Alder himself was abusing his partner Pokemon, and that's what caused him to, that's what caused the partner Pokemon to die. So, obviously this is fucked up and evil of him to say. Hako's not, like, the greatest person in the world, but mostly because, he can be really vindictive when he feels that he's been taken advantage of. And the fact that he's using this, like, personal information. One of them is abusive? Yeah, Getsus is abusive. Okay, so Getsus, like, convinces Hako to start spilling all of Alder's, like, tea, basically, to the general public. Casting doubt from the, I'm sorry, I'm just... Yeah, this is not a happy story, guys. This is not a happy story. This is, like, really messy relationship stuff. So, like, Hako is spilling all this tea, making everyone in Unova doubt the current champion. And why wouldn't they doubt him? Because he isn't present to take care of things. He's constantly like MIA, like wandering around the region. So on the surface, it does seem like, hey, he does kind of seem like a negligent type of person. But the people who interact with him on a daily basis, like the people, like young trainers that are trying to become stronger, they would realize that, hey, this isn't who Alder is, really. But the general public does not know that. So obviously Alder is like, what the fuck? Why did you do that? To Hako, and meanwhile, while Alder has been gone, fell tree shipping has been happening. So Getsus and Hako have been getting together, but Getsus has been like manipulating him the whole time into thinking that Alder is actually a bad person. But this is where I'm hesitant to say that endgame shipping is actually not going to happen between them. Right? So I'm uncertain of if I want this if I want Arbor shipping to be the endgame ship or not, just for Alder's sake, honestly, because Hako like really did drop the ball there. Like he did something unforgivable, and it isn't until he realizes how bad of a person that Getsus is, after witnessing Getsus and N interact, that he realizes, oh, I fucked up really bad. Yeah, it takes Hako like seeing how Getsus treats everyone else to realize like, oh shit, something's wrong and I did the wrong thing. And that fills him with unimaginable shame and guilt, which causes him to go back to the Celestial Tower and attempt to commit suicide with a lit wick. Guys, this isn't a happy story. And so, the person that stops him from doing that is Alder, because he realizes, shit, Getsus is involved, and that's probably the reason why everything has been going wrong, because I came here not knowing the context of what was happening, and I was like, when did all this happen in black and white? No, this is me and my friends' like imaginary like old man shipping universe. This is happening before the events of black and white. This is happening before the events of black and white. Okay, this is completely 100% normal. Yeah, it's so normal. Okay, so Alder eventually finds Hako, like, just kind of slumped over on the ground, like, holding a lit wick. And Hako actually didn't have any Pokemon partners before, like, before he met Alder or Getsus. And eventually, like, so Alder receives a Larvesta from Alder and a Dino from Getsus. Now, the important thing to note here is that because he's been around, like, Litwicks for so long, he does know, like, that they sap people's life energy. So that's why he decides, like, yeah, I'm gonna do it in the... I'm gonna die in the Celestial Tower to try and atone for my sins. Because now that, like, all of this information is out there, that he had actually, like, said all of that about Alder, like, there's no way to take it back. Like, the public opinion has already been swayed, and Team Plasma is one step closer to their goal, right? So even if he reneges on, like, the information, there would still be like that doubt cast upon Alder as like a person and also as like the champion. So this is where we divert our attention to AZ, right? So I'm if Arbor shipping is not the endgame ship and Hako decides to like leave Unova to try and like basically go on a little pilgrimage to kind of gain more life experience and what's the word? Like try and like I guess essentially run away from what he did. Then that's where, and we're gonna do this as hypothetical. Relationship. That is where AZ comes in. So he leaves Unova to go to Kalos, and in the event that Hako starts like wandering around and also is essentially homeless, he meets AZ, who is also essentially homeless and wandering around, also consumed by guilt. And I haven't like extensively like thought about the relationship between those two yet, but it was something that was brought to my attention that I could do. Most of the thinking that I've done for this has been like these three. So, where does Rowan come in here? So, Rowan is Skitty and Asa's OC, who, so for some context, Lear's mom dies in canon in Pokemon Masters EX. So Lear's dad, who is unnamed and not a real character within, or not a named character with an appearance, basically sends Lear away to these tutors who essentially abuse him while Lear's dad is trying to like grieve. So Skitty and Asa made an actual what's the word? Like design and name for that character, and that is Rowan. So the first ship we're gonna talk about here is between I guess I could do it in purple, the hypothetical. It's between Rowan and Alder, which I don't think has a name yet, but it was like a funny little crack ship that we were thinking about, in which Rowan is like visiting Unova one day, and he just like comes across like for diplomatic purposes, he just kind of comes across Alder like doing his thing like out in public and just kind of like lazing around, and he's just like, who is this homeless man, right? Not realizing that this is the champion of Unova. So and eventually like he does meet him in like a professional context, like a political context, and he's like, oh, you're that homeless guy I saw that like, I don't know, jumped off a cliff or something, and I thought you died. So, but I wasn't gonna say anything. So like yeah, they eventually just like start talking, but again, this is a situation of their personalities really do not mesh, because Alder is like kind of more peppy, like youthful in his old age. Meanwhile, Rowan is like, I miss my wife tales. Literally, he is the wife guy. Like, so that's why like all of these ships with Rowan are more hypothetical, because he is like still mourning the death of Clementine, his wife and Lear's mom. So So, like, this would only happen in the context of Rowan attempting to move on from that. Okay. Another ship that we were talking about is Getsus Rowan, which is also hypothetical. Oh my god. Dude, I'm like trying to put all of this insanity into words, and I feel like I sound like a crazy person. So Getsus Rowan is actually due to the Monster Hunter AU, where which spawns Prince shipping, which is Lear and Lear and N. That's a ship that we've been talking about. And that's like the whole core of Monster Hunter AU, which is like their relationship, right? So in this situation, Getsus and Rowan are like diplomatically involved in like the but in this case Rowan steps down as king and gives his power away to Getsus, which allows for them to be like, I guess, king and to be the prince. Lear's not happy about that. And there's like a whole situation with that as well. But the relationship between Getsus and Rowan is purely diplomatic and like political. Like they don't really like each other, but Getsus knows that he can manipulate Rowan through his grief and mourning his dead wife, Clementine. So really the more important like ship here, which would be it is endgame. It is correct. That's Rowan and Clementine. She looks like she also has the little crown thingy right here. There's Clementine. She's down there. Not Old Man Yaoi. Unrelated to Old Man Yaoi. But her death is important, especially in the case of Hako Rowan, which is crazy because he has like what, like 1, 2, 3, 4 different like arrows coming off of him. This is a mess. This guy needs to keep it in his pants, like respectfully. Like he needs to like discover himself and like be normal before he can ever get into a relationship. Let's be so for real. Like this guy, Hako kinda sucks, actually. But okay, so in the hypothetical situation that Hako and Rowan are in a relationship, this is where how do I say this? This is where Rowan is like, he's grieving Clementine, and Clementine is like put in a tomb, like a mausoleum, on the castle grounds, right? And one day Lear is like running away to see the mausoleum, which he is like not allowed to look at. And Hako, who is taking care of that mausoleum, you should have written this masterpiece on one of the cork boards with all the pictures and the colored yarn connecting the pictures to demonstrate how normal this is. Yeah, exactly. But I don't have one of those, so I was just like, okay, I'll just use like my Photoshop thing. Yeah. So one day Lear runs away to try and like actually visit Clementine's tomb. Hako finds him and returns him back to, like, the castle. Where Rowan and Lear live. And Rowan is like, oh, you helped me get my son back. Thank you. As a thank you for helping me get my son back, do you want to, like, be my political relationship to show that I'm actually moving on from Clementine, even though I'm not? To which Hako has to say yes, because this is literally the king. Like, he's afraid of retaliation for not being able to, or, like, the retaliation of, like, saying no. So he says yes. So obviously this is like a political relationship, and was solely made so that, Rowan could say that he's, like, you know, he's normal and, like, he's done with grieving and, like, everything is back to normal in the kingdom. Dude, I hate these guys. They're so stupid. And, Hako eventually does catch feelings for Rowan, but Rowan feels absolutely nothing for Hako. Because he still loves Clementine, and even in her death. So, yeah, and Hako doesn't deal well with that. He really doesn't. Because, he's already really insecure about, like, losing people, and also, like, this would be after this whole situation, right? That whole situation. And so one day, Rowan and Lear are getting into an argument, about how, Clementine, like, Rowan moving on with Hako is like a, what's the word? Hold on. Let me read what Skitty said. So, Rowan basically feels this pressure to be in a relationship after Clementine dies. And Rowan knows that he failed Lear as a father, and he decided, like, he's gonna try and, like, replace himself as a father and have Hako be, like, Lear's new father figure. So, like, Rowan decides that all he needs to do is just be shown as, like, intimate with somebody, as, like a fake dating situation. And eventually one day they, Rowan and Lear have, like a falling out because of the Hako-Rowan fake dating thing, because he believes that, like, Hako is ruining the memory of Clementine. Let me quote what Skitty says, because Lear really does see this as being super disrespectful and, like, sullying the name or the memory of Clementine. Quote, you're ruining the only good person who ever lived within the halls of the castle. And to quote Rowan, he believes that because she's dead, there's no reason to care about her anymore, and that his reign as king is more important than any memories of her. Which is fucked up. It's fucked up and evil, actually. So, since the Hako-Rowan situation happens after Alder gets his Hako happens, Hako would not be on board with Rowan trying to forget the memories of Clementine ever being, like, you know, important to him. Because Hako's whole thing is that he can't really commit to making bonds with people or Pokemon due to fear of losing them initially. But he would have realized after Alder and Ghetsis that bonds extend, the bonds between people and Pokemon extend through death, and they should be respected and cherished. So this is the first time that Hako is actually standing up to Rowan, in terms of like what he actually thinks, what he actually believes, and not what he feels like he's strong-armed into doing because Rowan is king. So, and that's about as far as we've gotten in terms of like Hako Rowan. And honestly, this is about as far as we've gotten into like the Yaoiverse extending outside of the love triangle that is Alder, Ghetsis, Hako. So, are you guys following? Do you see the vision? Do you see my plans, right? So, in the context of Alder, Ghetsis, Hako, it's like fumble after fumble after fumble after fumble, right? So not only did Hako fumble Alder, but also Ghetsis fumbles Hako in the fact that this is the first like normal-ish relationship he's ever had, other than with Alder, which he believes is was Alder's fault because you know, he's just like a stupid guy that like he somehow got romantically involved with, but their views or like ideals are directly opposed, so they could never get along anyway. Okay, so Ghetsis after like witnessing Alder Hako endgame starts to feel a little weird, right? He starts to feel a little something in that dead heart of his, and that's regret. It's regret. So happy 47 months, Stratos. Are you following the old man Yaoiverse explanation? Yeah. So Ghetsis actually starts to regret fumbling Hako. And the way that he realizes this is that Hako made him like an apple dumpling like pastry at one point in time. And he starts to crave this like dessert pastry, which I think is really funny because he would never, like, this guy, this evil old man would never like admit to himself that he misses somebody, or that this is like Into the Spider-Verse. Okay, yeah, this is crazy. So he would never admit to himself that he actually made a mistake because he's too much of an egomaniac to like admit that he has ever done wrong, right? He's wholly justified to himself in everything that he's ever done. And that everything is going towards his plan that, like, puts him as the rightful, like, ruler of Unova. So, he starts craving this apple pastry. And this is during Black and White 2. Or, like, maybe after Black and White 2. After Alder has basically retired, Iris takes over as the champion, and Alder and Hako are just kind of like living together in like general like very fluffy like post breakup getting back together endgame shipping. And this is after quite a bit of time because Alder had to like basically process the fact that Hako betrayed him, and Hako had to process the fact that he betrayed Alder for no reason. But we do want the end game to be Alder Hako. But Ghetsis is just like, I'm gonna I'm gonna throw a wrench into this, as he does. And one day he tells the Shadow Triad to basically kidnap Hako, which Alder's like, what the fuck? And like, the reason why he wanted to talk to Hako, or like all of this is just so that Getsus can talk to Hako again, because he's a wanted criminal. And like, he's kind of like, Getsus is kind of shattered after the events of Black and White 2 after failing for the second time. So he's just like, hey dude, can you just make me this pastry one last time? Which is so fucking goofy. It's so fucking goofy, but that is the only way that he can, like, articulate the fact that he misses Hako. I hate it here, guys. I hate it here. Wait, actually, there's an important, like, etymology for, Hako's name. So, Hako means, like, a felled tree, I think in, like, a Proto-Finnish language. And it also kind of sounds like the word haka, which is the word for grave in Japanese. And so that's why, the ship names for Alder and Getsus and Hako all have, like, relation to a tree. So Arbor shipping as Alder Hako, and then felled tree shipping as Getsus Hako. But yeah, like, and Hako's like, are you serious? You, like, kidnap me just so that I can make you a fucking pastry? And by this point, Hako's already, like, pretty self-assured in, like, everything that's happened so far, and he realizes that he was being manipulated and abused by Getsus. So he's just like, dude, here's the recipe. I'll make it, like, I won't make this thing for you, but you can try it on your own so that you can, like, maybe grow to be a better person. And then he just leaves. It's so funny. But that's also Hako's way of making peace with himself and Getsus and what that relationship was, realizing that, like, he won't give anything else, like, any more of his time towards, like, helping Getsus, but he'll, like, do this one last thing, like, leave this one last recipe as, like a parting word. A parting shot, if you will. So, that basically sums up everything that I've, like, thought about so far for the Pokemon Old Man Yaoiverse. Does anybody have any questions? Because I'm sure there are many. Stratus knows a little bit about what's going on, but I mostly talked about it with Skitty and Selena and Spade, and also to Scotty too. This is all within the Lear server. Yeah, I love my crazy, like, what is it? Love triangle? Love trapezoid? Yeah, it is a love trapezoid. Love pentagon. Explaining the Yaoiverse. Literally, that's me. Yeah, that's literally me. The Pepe Sylvia moment. Be nice to your gay grandpa. That's nice. But guys, we didn't even get into Prince shipping, which is Lear N. And we didn't even get into middle-aged man yaoi, or middle-aged old man yaoi, which is Lysander Sycamore, which extends to AZ as well. So, yeah. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I'm probably gonna go get on with my day. I spent an hour yapping about this. I can't believe that. But I actually I I do have new prints. I have new prints for Hako. So I have this print. I have this print, which will be sold at my whatever booth that I have at Artist Alley's, and then also I will have it on my online store. I also have this print. Oh wait, nope, that one. I didn't save it in here. Hold on. Oh wait, no, I did. I have this one also available on my online store, and also as a, so it's not only like sized as a postcard, but which is like a 4x6 inch postcard, but it's also sized as a 7x11 inch poster, so you can get that as well if you wanted to. I won't be able to sell the posters online because I don't have like any poster tubes to put things in, but if you come to one of my booths at like a tabling like Artist Alley situation, I should be able to have that. And I should be able to, like, maybe get a hold of some poster tubes eventually, if you guys do really want, like, a Hako print. Look at my guy! Look at my fucking cat dog! I love this, like, stupid guy. And his wisteria, like, fit. It's great. Okay. Well, that is it from me. I'm gonna save this real quick, and I will see you guys later. This is great. I had so much fun explaining this. Okay. Alright. Goodbye. Thank you for listening to me yap about my old man Yaoiverse. I appreciate it, and you guys are awesome for, like, listening. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you later. Goose wave, goose wave, goose wave. Yeah, no problem. I'll if you guys want the VOD for this, I can post it in the Discord server, but yeah, this is very funny. Okay. Bye-bye.